Hey, we're hanging out at the UPT booth. We're talking with Greg. How you doing, Greg?
Good, I'm good today.
Good to see you. Awesome to be back at PIA 2011. You guys have got some pretty cool products.
Yep, we one of the new products that we have that was released in March of last year was our stowless bag, which actually has 2 stows on it.
Stowless bag, for folks that don't know what a bag is?
All right, well, the stowless main deployment bag, basically what we've tried to do is a lot of malfunctions happen between container opening and the canopy coming out of the bag itself. So what we try to do is eliminate a large portion of those malfunctions by removing the part that we feel is part of the cause, which are the rubber band stows on the outside edges of the bag.
Okay, makes sense.
So the way that we've done this is all of your line stows are now stowed in a pouch here, and after you pack the canopy up as normal, you do your 2 locking stows to ensure that the canopy stays inside the bag. And your lines are off in that direction, and your containers off in that direction. And you just rotate you S-fold your lines back and forth till your risers come up to the edge of the bag. Roll the bag over. You take these tuck tabs on either side of the bag, pick the bag up, and then you put these 2 tuck tabs down here in these pockets. And now your lines are all stowed inside here. When the bag is full of the canopy, this creates tension on this pouch, which gives you a little bit of line tension on the lines. But now all of your lines are unstowing from the center of the bag.
Well, hold up. Now, if the way you're describing this, the way this looks, it looks an awful lot like a reserve deployment bag.
A free bag. It's the exact same. It's the exact same design, just in a main bag.
So why has nobody done this before?
Nobody thought of it, I guess. You know, there are other types of actually, what I should say is nobody's done it this way before.
Well, I do know there's other stowless bags.
Yeah, there are other stowless bags. The original stowless bag, which was the burger bag. There may have been other stowless bags before that, but the burger bag was the most popular, which was designed by Morton Berger at the time, which is now his name is Morton Peterson actually. But that bag had tuck tabs all over the place. The bag worked very well when it was used by very specific people in the same size canopies. You couldn't, it was more difficult to put different size canopies in it because it was canopy specific.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't as useful for the general public. So what the 2 people that designed this bag, which are Scott Roberts and Morton Peterson, I had said to them, I need a stowless bag that I can give to a student, an AFF student, and teach them how to pack. It's got to be that simple. And what we came up with was, through a bunch of revisions of the bag, was we left 2 of the stows on the bag. This is something that everybody already knows. Your canopies packed the same. I have 2 stows, and the next thing now, the only thing is, we're stowing the rest of the lines in the pouch, just like the free bag.
Okay.
So this is more simplistic. Anybody can use it.
What is it that sets this bag apart from some of the competition? Like, for instance, somebody down the road, they've got a magnetic system.
Okay.
What makes this different, better?
Well, one of the issues with a magnetic bag, and it all depends on where the magnets are. There are bags that are set up the same way as this, and the pouch itself has magnets on it. One of the things is, the more magnets you put into things, the more heavier they get. One of our concerns was, even though the AAD manufacturers say to us the magnets don't affect the AAD, but over a long period of time, this sits right by the AAD all the time. So we were kind of concerned, will it affect the AAD in the long term? So we opted not to use them. Plus, they're very difficult to manufacture. Magnets stick to sewing machines. So there are places where magnets come very useful for us, anyway, in our opinion, and other places where the benefit to using the magnet on the bag for the pouch itself, the amount of effort it takes to produce it is not worth the benefit, as opposed to the simplicity of this tuck tab design.
It's just also more costly from what you just described.
Yes.
So, all right. So there's one part, the magnets. What else is it that makes the tuck tab system a little better, in your opinion, versus say magnetic bags?
Well, as far as it's more user friendly for everybody. My whole focus was for every skydiver to be able to use this bag. Now, some of the bags that use magnets on the lock, the closing flap, and one of the things that we have seen is the fact that Magnets work in shear and peel just like Velcro does.
Okay.
Velcro is very strong in the shear when you pull it. When you put two pieces of Velcro together and you pull them from side to side, magnets are very weak in their shear. Magnets are very strong in their peel, as where Velcro is very weak in its peel. So, describing peel, shear and peel, that's the way we do it. Now, the force that is applied to the flap on the bag when it lifts off the container, when it's being pulled by the bridle, the entire bag gets distorted like this, and all of that force is shear force on the flap itself. So I've seen video of bags with magnets on the flap itself actually shear open, and seen the canopy come out of the bag when it's only about 3 feet off the end user's back, and the lines past the canopy that's coming out.
Holy cow.
And that can end up being a very dangerous situation.
A line strip, basically.
Yeah, basically, it's line dump, which can create a lot of other problems. So in the end, we opted to stick with something that we knew. We've known that this has worked all the time. Coming back to the free bag, it's the same thing. There's got to be hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of deployments on free bags with very little malfunction going on. So that's why we took that road.
Okay, good. All right, well, I'm impressed with the Stolas D-bag system. Looks like we've got a new or different RDS system here as well. You want to tell me about that?
Yes, our RDS system, as you know, it's just basically you don't want your slider up there anymore. The RDS system can be used by swoopers or camera people. As you know, you're a camera person, that slider gets in the way. There's nothing worse than the slider being up there and you're going, oh, what a great shot, and the camera's filming the slider and your eyeball's looking at the great shot. So from a camera person's point of view, you just reach up, grab that line, you pull on that line, your rings disconnect, you take that slider and stuff it inside your shirt. It was also pointed out as a safety aspect by a friend of mine, because now, let's say I collapse my slider and I pull it down behind my head. My field of vision, even though it's open up here, I can't see behind me because now that slider's back behind me.
Oh, good point.
So he looks at it he only jumps it as a safety aspect. He's not a big swooper. He goes, it takes me about 1 second to go boom, boom, bam, stuff this in my shirt and I'm flying. So during opening, I'm not spending 20 seconds, 30 seconds, sometimes a minute, dealing with my slider, trying to stuff it behind my head while I've got other traffic coming around me. I'm spending more time looking at the traffic around me after I've removed the slider and stuffed it down my shirt, and I can now see behind me directly because now there's no slider back there. He would rather spend the time on the ground, that extra minute or so, let's say, putting the slider back on during the pack job, than doing it while he's under canopy and also potentially putting himself in a hazardous situation. Now, as far as a swooper standpoint, this creates a lot of drag. So from the swooper standpoint, away goes drag, speed creates lift, it's more efficient, blah, 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 speed is fun.
I never thought about it from the visual safety aspect. That's kind of interesting. I mean, it's true, it's a pain in the tail when you especially if you're flying a flat top pro with big cameras like some of mine are. It's not that it's over the lens, it's that you can't move your head.
Yep.
So you really need to have it for that. But this is kind of impressive because now we're only pulling out the line. We don't have anything else to stuff except for the slider itself. There's no lines that are coming out that then have to be reset and restowed. We just basically have two little resets right here and we're good to go.
Yeah, you just grab, if on either side, if I disconnect both sides, when you land, you just grab those two cables either end, just pull them out and you're set.
You're done.
And then when the rings obviously stay in your lines, and your loops are set there, you put your rings over the two loops, and of course, they just pop up through there.
Yep.
And you stick your cable back in.
Well, from I think a lot of people think of RDS systems as being exclusively for swoopers and maybe for some camera people, but when you bring up the safety aspect, it's really something that maybe...
It's something that anybody can use. We have found at this point great success with it, and up to this point we don't have any inherent problems. So, you got any wood for me to knock on? And we have quite a few of them out there since this particular design has come up. This design has been out in the market for about 4 years now.
Well, moving on, I see some risers there that are kind of, I don't know if I want to say they're different, funky, unique.
These are our low drag risers, and this basically is was set up originally for swooping aspect. Now, parasitic drag. The less parasitic drag, the faster I go. The faster I go, the more efficient the canopy is going to fly. Now, let's say you're at a world-class level, and speed is getting measured down to a thousandth of a second. Folding your risers in half and creating less drag
right.
could mean the difference between that thousandth or 2,000th of a second. You need to go from first to second place. In the biggest part, it's really not that necessary for everybody. One of the advantages that I have found with the low drag risers is they go under your riser covers a lot easier now.
Makes sense.
So it was a benefit that I never thought about until I started packing. I was going, man, it's just so much easier to line all this stuff up there. It takes up less space.
Cool. So we got a Stola D-bag system. We've got a new RDS system. We've got the low drag risers. Is that most of what's happening at UPT right now in terms of newer products?
Besides the
Skyhook stuff is real.
Yep.
I'm sorry. The Vectran in the tandem.
Yep. The Sigma 2 tandem canopies. Basically, it's we've done a new line, a new trim change on the Sigma canopy, and we've started putting a Vectran line on it to reduce parasitic drag, to try to also the greatest malfunction on Dacron was tension knots. So to combat that, we've gone to the Vectran. And we have, so up to this point, we haven't seen any tension knot problems that didn't. Sometimes people have said we've got some tension knots with the Vectran, but they end up coming out. So, but it's not like the Dacron, which ends up, that's our biggest malfunction. With the less parasitic drag, the canopy flies faster, so it flies more efficiently. Plus, the Sigma 2 tandem canopies all have collapsible sliders on them. So, the collapsible slider benefits in lack of parasitic drag once again,
right.
But the slider itself, when it rattles around, causes damage to the lines and the risers. And it also makes it very much of a pain in the ass for you to talk to your student.
Well, it's unnerving for some students too. They hear that sound, and it's like, what's that sound?
So now it's a lot easier. You collapse the slider, and now it's a lot easier for you to have that conversation with your student.
Great, makes sense. Well, cool. You guys have got quite a few things going on this year, it looks like, over at UPT. Anything new and exciting we should know about coming up? Can you let us peek under the hood at all?
At this point, no. I can't tell you about any of the stuff under the hood.
But so all the stuff you told me off camera, we can't tell people on camera.
That's correct. But we're always working to improve all of our products. That is the one thing that I can say. We're always trying to make it better.
Well, I think UPT's definitely made a huge contribution to the world of skydiving and making things better.
Yeah, we want to try doing that.
Cool beans. All right, well, Greg, thanks for taking the time to talk with me. And we'll see you folks on the other side.